On this episode of the Growing Father podcast, I had a great conversation with health coach Magenta Chernets. She's up in Canada, and we went over the importance of muscle as you age, how to help our kids find value and purpose in their life, and how to pursue those things. And we had a great conversation about Ikigai, which was something that I never heard of before. So we had a great conversation. I hope you enjoy it. Let's go.
I had to get it back from my girlfriend who was reading it last night, so we'll chat about that one.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear about it.
And also from the parenting world too, like the important piece, like my kids both play rep sports. So from the mom's perspective, still trying to make time for yourself as well, and maintain your goals when your kids are working at high level, elite level sporting as well.
How many kids you have?
2 girls, 16 and 14.
16 and 14. And I always thought that it was the same girl when I see you posting, but
2 girls.
Okay.
So my older girl is 16, and she did do a lot of volleyball a couple years ago, but she's morphed more into the flag football, and that's why I was down in Florida at Disney, was for flag football world championship. And then the younger one, who's just turned 14, she plays volleyball at a pretty elite level. Her team was number 2 in the province and number 4 in the country.
That's awesome.
And we came down to, it's called Beast of the East Coast Championship, and they came in second down there. And the team that they lost to, I think, is like 5th in the U.S., all of the U.S.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like
what
they
position
go down to
does she
Florida.
play?
Pardon?
What position does she play?
She's moving towards center now. So in Canada, at a younger age, they don't do the positional training like they do down in the States. So when we play against American teams, they're at a disadvantage, we find, our Canadian kids. Because last year they were doing something called triple ball, where like legit you get one serve and then there's somebody from each team tosses the ball over the net and the kid's got to live play it, and the other person, coach from their team, lives play it. So in case you have a team that's not strong in terms of serving, you're not getting stuck. Or if somebody's like a ridiculous strong server, isn't going to dominate. Like you said, you're 5 max anyways, but just one serve, toss. So this was the first year where they were able to take it to like just serving if they need to, but they max out at 5. And then as you get older, then you can go unlimited serves. So
the U.S. is quite a bit different from my experience in Brazil too. That they moved to specializing quite early, which it's not, in my opinion, is not the best for recreation and even development. It makes kids be very, you're tall, you're gonna play middle. You're short, you're gonna play defense, and very, very much focus on how can we win today instead of how can we make the better players and people that are gonna play 5-10 years from now.
So that's the debate in Ontario, is kind of like, some of the parents who are saying this sucks because it limits some of the kids' development when you go play against the American teams, but at the same sense, you're developing an all-around player. So this year they do traditional limited specialization. So there is a little bit in terms of specialization that they can do, but not to the extent that happens in the American teams. But then last year it's like 6v6 where you're playing every position and you're not switching into different spots. So you're in setter position, you're going to hit it, you're going to set it, and wherever you are, you are.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about it, because I don't think it's I think the answer is probably a little bit of a mix, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Where you encouraging kids to develop skills, especially at an age that they're changing so much, right? So the tallest kid in the class today may not be the tallest kid in the class tomorrow, or as they develop their skills and their motor, especially their motor skills, that might change so much. And as I'm a big fan of kids being able to play for fun.
Play for fun as well, yeah.
And when you go play with your friends, if you're not able to do a little bit of everything, then you suck.
Yeah.
And so you got to be able to develop somewhat of a level skill set, even if you excel at 1 or 2 skills, but then you have that ability to play and have fun without being ridiculous. I mean, I've coached girls that were 12 years old, and they would tell me, I don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm not a setter. It's like I'm not
Yeah.
asking you to be a setter. I'm asking you to,
Set.
you know, just
So
set
know
a
how to set,
ball. Like, yeah.
because you might have to be in a position to set the ball, and you have to be able to get the ball if you happen to be the person that's to it, because your setter can't get to it, your setter's falling down. You have to be able to compensate in different positions all the time.
So, are your girls? Do your girls love sports, or is this something that you've had to push them a
I don't
little
push
bit more?
anything. I don't push anything.
Okay.
And that's where the drive I think comes from, is because it's that their own internal. So I don't tell them to do homework. I don't tell them to do anything. I'd say the key piece for me is telling them to sleep, because they're trying to stay on top of their studies, managing their practices, their games, their tournaments, the extracurricular things as well, right? So
Hmm.
I think from a parenting perspective, it's when your kids can develop that intrinsic drive when they're the ones who are going to be successful. I'm not telling her to go practice. She's outside practicing in the winter in her flip-flops or slides outside in the back against the house. She's hitting the ball against the house. It's raining. She's outside. My big thing is, you're wearing your nice white socks, put on some shoes on your feet or take your socks off.
Well, so let's go into that a little bit more. Tell me a little bit more about where that comes from, because I find that very interesting, um, and unique in what you're telling me about developing their own drive. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, sure. So when the kids first start, so my kids have wanted to be involved in sports from a younger age. So for me, I'm involved in the fitness world. So they've seen me be active, going for my runs, going to the gym, teaching at the gym. So they see me out and about all the time being active. So whether they want to emulate that or not, who knows? But we've never really had a real conversation about that. But I think for kids, they see what they see, and oftentimes they want to be like what their parents do, and along those lines. So when the Olympics were on, my little one was 3, 4, I guess, and she said she wanted to go to the Olympics for gymnastics. She wanted to be a gymnast. Sure, sure. You want to do that? We can go to the Olympics. Enrolled her in gymnastics, tried to different clubs, and she did become pretty high up in her levels for gymnastics competition. Um, Ended up having a compound fracture of her arm, 2 bones broken, casted, and I come back right after, or in between right before the pandemic started. So with that, we lost that drive for the gymnastics love, and then the kids pivoted. So both of the girls, my younger one was always big for her age, uh, and not big, but in terms of like compared to her friends came up to her waist. She was like a tall giant. She looked like she was probably in grade 4, 5 when she was in grade 1, grade 2. And it was just her level of wanting to be like her sister, her older sister, but she couldn't do the gymnastics moves because she didn't have the strength to pull her body and move her body. So they kind of, whether they followed me and then they followed each other, I don't know what the trajectory was from the natural flow. And then the pandemic came, and the pandemic shifted everything for the kids and what they wanted to do. Because I think a big piece for the sports and the kids is also the team aspect. Um, with their gymnastics world, although it was an individual competition, they still had that camaraderie of training together, talking together, eating together, because they trained for 4.5 hours a night, like 20 hours a week. It was pretty intense for these guys, grade 3, 4, 5. But then when they were limited in terms of who they could talk to, maybe it pulled back their real love for the sport, or maybe the demand for a sport that actually had the interaction piece, which I think is key for kids, knowing what they love about the sport. And for them, it was the camaraderie and the ability to socialize within the sport as well. So for my older one, we moved out of, so she'd been like probably grade 5, grade 6. She moved in, actually might have been grade 7. She moved into gymnastics at the school level. So we have school level sports as well. And she tried out for school level volleyball. And my younger one tried out for school level volleyball. She didn't make it. So she got cut. And it was devastating for her, because it's kind of like that. Well, I've done gymnastics. My sister made it. I should just make it. And we had to have that conversation of, you have no right to make this team. You have zero experience. The kids that you're playing up against have rep experience. So it's on you. Either you pick a different sport or you work at it. And you want to do a camp, we'll do a camp. You want to go and practice and play, we'll go and play. You want to do some skills, we'll go and do it. But you can't just be upset that you didn't make it without the effort and the work. You don't have the skills. You're not in line with what the kids are. Like the Michael Jordan speech, right? Right? Do you want it? You got to work for it. And so I think that was either that day or the next day, she got a ball outside and started hitting against the house. And from not making her school team, the next year she tried out for the rep team, and this is an elite level team. Um, and they play up a lot in terms of their age level too. She tried out for the team, and I know the coach, but the coach is like, although we know you, I'm not having any input into if she makes the team or not. He's like, there's three other coaches. It's going to be up to them. I'm not even telling them we know you. Um, she went to the tryouts. He calls and gives us an offer. And I said to him, I'm like, is she all right? Like, have her skills developed? And he said, she's one of my starters. She's like, she's one of my top six. I was like, holy, like, that's pretty amazing that this kid who got cut from her team has worked so hard over the course of, April, May, June, July, August to now be able to make a pretty good team and actually have a starting role on that team as well from her skills. So it goes to show you with the determination for the kids, you can get what you want if you put the work in. And for her, she's been able to experience that firsthand by doing and having that drive to get where she wants to go. And I don't tell her what to do. So
And
you want to
that
go.
is such an important lesson for kids to learn early rather than late, right? It's much better
Yeah,
for you to be disappointed at age 10 or age 12 than at age 25, right?
absolutely.
If it's much better for you to not make a team and understand that there is an effort that goes with it now than when you're going for a job interview and it's the first time that anybody told you no, you're not good enough, right?
Absolutely. I think the messaging for us as parents is also important in saying, oh, you're an all-star. No, no, you're not. Like you're a good kid, but your skills in this area aren't where they need to be. So what do you want to do about it? Do you want to pursue this or not? And if you do, here's how you can get there. I'm not forcing you to do this. I don't need you to become an elite level athlete. I don't need you to go become a volleyball player. I want you to be happy and follow your dreams. So if for you that means working hard to become a volleyball player, great. Do you want to go play rugby, lacrosse, soccer? I don't care what it is, but you have to want to have that drive because I'm not forcing you to go to practice. I'm not forcing you to get up to go somewhere or to make sure that, you're dragging you crying to a practice. It's on the kids to be able to do what they want and make sure that they are having that internal drive, I guess, from my point of view.
So how? So tell me a little bit more about how do because what I'm thinking is that one of the things that you hear often from parents now is my kids don't have much of a drive for anything, right? So my kids will sit and play video games all day, or my kids will sit and stay on their phone all day. So how do you think that what are the things that you did or the mindset that you instilled in them that makes it possible for them to make those positive choices?
I think a lot of conversations with the kids about what they like and what they want to do, but also modeling it. Seeing our kids seeing us follow something that we're passionate about, seeing us work hard, seeing us maybe not be successful in certain things, but still being able to succeed in other areas as well. And modeling for them that it's because maybe there's a lot of fear of failure with kids and adults. So by our kids seeing us maybe not be successful, having a hard go at something, they're more willing to maybe take those risks and face those challenges. Um, Social media, of course, it's a culprit for everybody wanting to get sidetracked and lost in it. Um, but I think a big piece too is who the kids hang around in terms of their friend circle as well. And I don't know how you make that happen in terms of making sure your kids make good friends and whatnot, but um, I think the kids from what I was just mentioning about really wanting that social connection, if there's a group of kids who have a good social connection, then I find they're not as inclined to just be on their phones. Maybe they learn to talk more, learn to communicate, interact. Um, and for us, I think with this global age where kids are connected all over the world, like you're down in Florida, I'm up here in Canada, is sometimes it is hard to have those real life conversations when you make connections with people in other parts of the world, other cities, for parents to get kids to places to have real life conversations. So um, I think that comes back to the level of community as well. So what are communities looking like? Um, so with my kids too, there's my younger daughter, her and her group of friends, they like to actually get together and not be on their phones.
Nice.
So last summer they'd have a board game night in the summer. where they'd get together, they'd go to someone's house that they could usually walk to a bike ride to. And we're talking about a 1 to 2 kilometer radius where we got a highway to in the area. So the kids would have to get places safely and they travel together in packs. Um, but they'd put their phones into a bowl and they'd play board games one night a week. And that wasn't adult initiated. It was them wanting to not be distracted and knowing the distraction of the social media and the phone, which then goes back to the connections piece. So having the kids being able to make those connections is fantastic.
Yeah, no, that's great. And it sounds like you are, you and the people that you're around, you're showing them a good way to have those interactions. And I was talking to somebody that I had on the podcast the other day who's a teacher, and we were just talking about what you were saying earlier, that the people that you're around determines a lot, right? If you're in a group of friends that everybody's on their phone, you're going to tend to be on their phone. But if nobody's on their phone when they get together, that one person that might take their phone out and be on their phone all the time is going to stick out and is not going to be accepted as much, right? So having the culture, right? It's just like a team culture. If you have a team that is acceptable to put each other down, that's
Yeah,
what's going to continue happening. But if you have a team that supports each other, when somebody comes and does that, you know, it's not going to go well for that person.
exactly. And I think with that, if you want to dive deeper even into that, is having the ability to find time. And when we don't find time because we're distracted all the time from social media, it's hard to follow your passions and find out what you're actually interested in because you don't have space and time for your brain to go there, your body to go there, and figuring out what you like. So, whether it be through conversations with your family, with your friends, whatever it is, but having that time away from social media to dig deeper and allow those conversations. It's like, hey kids, I don't care if you don't want to go for a bike ride or not. I don't care if you don't want to go for a walk around the block. We're going for a walk around the block. Put your phones down. We're going. And off we go versus you don't want to go. Oh, that's fine. You could sit on your phone for the next hour. In some ways, it's kind of like we're still the parents and we still have to do some modeling and making them a priority to spend time with us. And if the kids say they want to play with us, it's not like, I'm sorry, I'm on my phone right now, or I'll be there in 5 minutes. I'm just busy shopping on Amazon with Prime deals right now. It's making the time to have those moments together where if the kid wants to go and play baseball and you hate baseball, but maybe your kid likes baseball, you go and play it. And you might suck the world, and that's okay. But your kid might be able to teach you something, right?
My kid was he was just asking me before we jumped on this, and he's like, "Dad, can we go to the pool today?" And it's like, oh, maybe. Let's.
Yes, you will.
It's
Yeah,
like,
after this podcast, you're going
that's
now.
right.
You're going, I'm going to go.
That's
I got
right.
to go.
So
I don't want
now
to
we're
go, but I'm going to
going.
go.
Now, well, thank you.
You're welcome. You can
And
tell your kids.
it's always, and I think it's important because a lot of times we're in the same boat, and like you said, modeling is so important, right?
Mhm.
Because we're trying to tell our kids that you have to do these things because of the long term benefits of it, or because of the sometimes not even that long of a term, right? But what feels good, that gives you more value than just what feels good right now.
Yeah.
And a lot of times as parents, you tired and you stressed and you don't want to go into those things. But then there's so much more value, so much more benefit from going and actually interacting with them. One of the things that I found the most valuable for me is that it's in those times that my kids always choose to talk to me. It's not in the times that I choose, right?
Hmm.
How was your day at school? Fine.
Good.
What
Yeah.
good? What happened today? Nothing. But then I'll say, hey, let's go for a walk, right? Like you're saying, and then we start
Mhm.
walking, and in between what's happening in Minecraft and what's happening at this, and some funny joke that he heard. It's like, yeah, this happened and it really upset me. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
so I found that those moments are much more meaningful than just trying to constantly say, tell me now everything that you feel
Mm.
or what happened. And it has created a much bigger connection for us, and it has
Mm.
increased the value of much more for me than just going for a walk or going out to play. And even hearing when they share moments that they remember now, oh, with that day that we went to the pool and we
Yeah.
played that game, huh, I thought that was like a throwaway day.
You're
Yeah.
like, I hated that day. That was horrible. Like, exactly. You're like, I
And
did
then I
not
want
want
to
to
go to the
go.
pool, and I
Dad, do you
went.
remember when we went in this? You went down, and you dove, and you got that thing at the bottom of the pool. That was so amazing.
Yeah,
You told me that I was so afraid, right? You just don't know what the kids are going to pick up from what they see you do.
we went on. We went on a bike ride one time, and we went this trail that we had never been. We had just moved here, so
Mhm.
we kind of exploring, and then we came back to the house, and we were coming back to the house, and it was dark. And I asked it, do y'all just want to jump in the pool real quick? And to them, I was like, what? We're gonna jump in the pool? Like, we don't have bathing suits. It's dark. We didn't talk about it. And they talk about it all the time.
Yeah,
Do you remember
yeah.
that time that we went for the bike ride and we came back and jumped in the
Jump
pool?
to
And
the
it's
pool.
incredible, right? To have those moments away from the screens and from
Yeah.
all that. So tell me, so I want to hear a little bit more about your own fitness journey too. In that, has that always been a part of your life? You always value fitness and stayed in shape, or that was something that changed for you at some
Yeah,
point in life?
always been, always been. So, and I think, like I said, it comes, I think, from modeling for me and what I've seen and grown up with as a young girl. So, funny enough, my parents actually met at university. My dad was a varsity athlete, played hockey at the university level, and my mom, without any basketball experience, was a walk-on basketball player for her university team because she was tall. The team wasn't a good team, but my parents are both varsity athletes, not me. So um, they've always been active. My dad was a big coach at school he was a grade 8 teacher, and my mom was a kindergarten teacher. So they were both big into making sure that kids were active. So their conversations that they had, things with us, we would go and do things, walks, activities. They'd encourage us to do sports in elementary school, but also coaching us too. Um, and then as I got older, you played the elementary school sports, went to high school. I played quite a few sports in high school as well. Never an all-star, but I liked to play the sports for the fun. So I think for
Any of
me,
them were your favorite?
I liked basketball. I'm a left-handed person, so I was a left side guard, which was good. But I didn't play the elite rep level sports that my kids did because we couldn't financially afford it. And then there was I've got brothers who are twins a year older, and were playing rep hockey. So they were on the road. And when you've got, for me, I'm a single parent, but a two-parent household with two kids in rep sports, and you're on the go all the time, it's hard to manage if you've got kids going to different places and you don't have anybody else who can drive. So my brothers played rep hockey. I just did the school level sports and focused on my marks. And then when I went to university, I didn't play any sports at that level, strictly in the high school. So did well, kept my marks up, but I always found the sports was a good chance for socialization and building that team environment as well. Um, I started working out at the gym when I was probably 15 years old. I was on the board of directors for the YMCA, first youth one down in our area. So it was kind of cool. And then when I was in first year university, I got my personal training certificate. So that was back in like 2020. Or no, sorry, 2000, back in 2000. Well, that changed me. I'm not only that old. So back in
We
2000,
we we ignore 2020.
and it was like
We've
last year.
erased that year from the calendar.
Last year. So back in 2000, I started personal training. And that's when I morphed into more of the coaching role of the fact that I liked to be active. I liked the socialization. I didn't get into the adult team sport world from that point of view. In university, I played a little bit of water polo and some intramural sports, but um, I wanted to move into the more fitness world. I love the gym. I'm a little gym rat. Um, so then we moved into the personal training. I worked at a gym, and I'd be at the gym. You know the lifestyle. You're in at 5 a.m. and you might train your last client at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, and you go to bed and do it all over again. That was while being a full-time university student. And I was like, I'm actually not enjoying working out personally anymore because I'm in the gym all the time and I'm always coaching. And then when I'm in the gym trying to do my own thing, people want to talk and you kind of lose your focus from your workout. Do you know that feeling at all?
I can relate a little bit. People ask you all the time. Oh, I mean, you're in the gym all the time. You must be, you must. It's like, yeah, I kind of don't want to be here when I don't have to be here.
Yeah. So you lose that passion and desire when you're immersed in it. Sometimes, depending on how your boundaries are set up as well, right? And your supports of how you can set it up. So for me, I was going to work at the gym in the morning, personal training for a couple hours. I'd go to school for a couple hours. Um, I might go to the library, back to school, and then go work at the gym again in the evening. Um, and I was like, although I love coaching people one-on-one, I I was like, maybe I'll be a group fitness instructor. Never done a class before. But I'm like, that might be a better way to do it. You can just kind of go and coach everybody at once and get everybody on the same page. So I did my certification, and then in that you're teaching classes while you're getting certified. And then I started teaching group fitness classes back in like 2001, 24 years ago. So for me, I then found more of a passion because I was able to motivate a larger group of people at once and work them through that piece as opposed to one person with one set of goals, which is good. There's pros and cons to each, and there's a different value added for each of those aspects. But for how busy I was, and for me, I like to talk to a lot of people, I was able to reach a lot more people at once. I could give messages, I could coach, I could go through and walk around and talk to people and give them the words of encouragement, the motivation, the chats before and after. I could hit maybe 20, 25 people within an hour, as opposed to one person an hour and hitting only maybe 8 people in a day. And forming those connections. And then if people weren't coming to the class, I'd be like, yo, why aren't you in my class? Like, what's going on? Sending them a message or whatever it was. Yeah, so that's how I started kind of moving away from team sports into more of the fitness world, if you want to say. So I competed in fitness as well. I
Okay.
did some
You have
fitness
great you
competitions.
have great arms. Every time I see your
Hey,
pictures, I'm
thank you,
like,
thank you.
those arms
Yeah,
are sick.
it's the fun, right? So that's my yeah, I'll get into that later. But having those goals for yourself too of what you can do and not pushing beyond or not stopping when you think you can't push any further. So I did some fitness, ended up doing like bodybuilding, but for me, the lifestyle for competition wasn't sustainable for where I was and what I wanted to do. So fun, loved it. Would I do it again? Yeah, I would. But I couldn't see myself living the lifestyle for a long-term basis, just based on how everything else is rolling out of my life. So that's where that kind of was, and did my whole, you know, group fitness training and still going strong with that to this day. So yeah.
That's awesome. Any fitness goals that you're working for yourself right now? Any kind of new targets that you're trying to reach?
You'll like this little target. So a couple years ago, I was like, I can't do a pull up. I can't do a pull up. And one of my friends is like, you can do a pull up. He's like, you can lift. You can do a pull up. I'm like, no, I can't. I can't do a pull up. And then it was like, the January new goals. One night I'm at the gym, late at night. I go in and I'm like, I'm gonna do one. And I was like, oh, I can do one. And then I'm like, oh, I did another one. And I was like, how many can I do actually in a row? So I ended up like not thinking I could do any because I didn't want anyone to watch me. I probably didn't want to watch anybody watch me fail, from it being a busy environment and whatnot. But there was a couple friends that I knew who were there. I'm like, just spot me just in case. And I was able to push out 4 pull-ups my very first time trying them, not thinking I could do any. So it goes to show you, like, if you actually push yourself and try, you can actually probably do a lot more. Which goes like you and I were chatting about earlier with women and not wanting to lift heavy with the fear of getting bigger. So I know for me, with you're stuck with your frame for where you are in your body size, but then how do you put on muscle mass at this stage of the game? Especially for us as we age, you do start to break down your muscle mass, but you have to work at it if you want to maintain it. So my goal a couple years ago was to start getting my bicep weight up. And I like the easy curl bar. So that's my favorite little bar. So my goal was to just getting up, and they go in 10-pound increments. I don't put on the 5 ones. So it's like I hit my 10-pound ones. And even if I get only one out, I just do one and that's it. I'll call somebody over from the gym just to spot me for that one as I push up. I think I was probably doing like 40 or 50 for the longest time. And so I'm like 130 pounds. I'm 5'5". I'm shorter frame, right? And I managed to get up to 70 pounds.
Damn.
I know. So that's only for like, 3, 4 reps, but I'm good at that, right?
Hey.
Being able to push out 70 for a few reps, I'm good. So having those little goals to kind of push through as well is always a fun thing. Picking one body part you want to increase your target weight in or whatever it is. So
Yeah,
it's fun.
that's phenomenal. And I mean, it's always cool, right? I think that as I get older, I see, you see somebody in their 20s and they're in great shape. It's like, oh, that's fine, But when you start seeing somebody in their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, their 60s, and they are in great shape, now that's a real badge of honor, right?
Absolutely.
That's when you see somebody that had kids, has a family, has a business, has a profession, and they can stay in great shape. Now that means a lot more than your 18-year-old
Exactly.
that just so happened to look like this.
Yeah. And it's that fear with some people. It's like, oh, when do I start? And like we were talking about before this all started, is when do you start? You just got to start now, right? You're never going to be 100% ready. You're never going to be the 10 pounds of light. Maybe you will be before you can walk into a gym. It's like, just go, just go and start. And you'll be surprised at what can happen and what connections you can make and how you can actually surprise yourself at what goals you can reach when you're not even expecting them to be reached. So it's
Yeah,
pretty
I
cool.
heard. Are you familiar with Peter Attia?
Yeah, I've heard the name, but not I haven't
Yeah,
seen him work.
he's great. He has a lot of one of my favorite books when it comes to fitness is called Outlive,
Hmm.
and he's basically talking about the longevity. And one of the things that I've heard him say is like, you will never meet a 90-year-old that wish that he was weaker.
Hmm.
That regrets being that regrets how strong he is, or regrets
Yeah.
how much muscle he has. You usually have quite the opposite. And so that has become one of the things that I appreciate when I'm working with my clients is that, yeah, maybe going on a bodybuilding stage is not for everybody. Maybe having a six pack is, maybe it's not your thing. But let me tell you, you're going to want to get down on the floor to play with your grandkids,
Yeah.
right? Or you're going to
Yeah.
want to get off the toilet by yourself, or
Yep.
you're going to want to put that luggage on the overhead compartment by yourself. And
Absolutely.
so I think that's a lot of the things that people miss when they're coming to the gym or they're trying to get into any kind of training is that they have a mentality that fitness is for me to look a certain way and not necessarily I want to be able to perform, or and they have all the compartments of I want to lose weight, so I'm going to do cardio. Oh, I am older, so I'm just going to use machines with light weight, and all
Hmm.
those things that it's hard to break from people a lot of times from years and years of them convincing themselves that that's the truth. Sometimes they
Yeah.
heard something 50 years ago, and that's stuck for them, and that's how they're going to do it, right?
Hmm.
So
Absolutely.
are you trying to get more pull-ups now? Is that what you're?
Who knows? Who knows? I never know what I'm gonna do. So for me right now, it's kind of just picking these little goals. But back on that story about getting older, cool little story about one of my girlfriends. So I'm a special ed teacher as well, and so one of my girlfriends was getting ready to retire, and she had about a year out, and she's like, I don't know what I'm going to do when I retire and what life's going to look like. I'm like, start coming to the gym with me. I was working at another gym as well. I said, start coming to the gym with me and see if you like kind of having a social group and something to do, because I think that's a key piece prepping for retirement, which is a whole nother story, is kind of building in some sort of a transition plan for moving into that next phase of life when you don't have that daily routine. And when a lot of people lose their strength and mobility and get into lazy habits, if you don't make time for yourself and making sure you're making healthy and active choices for yourself to stay longer, to stay healthier longer, and to live a more active lifestyle without deteriorating quickly in terms of your physical fitness and health, if you can do it. So she's like, you know what? She just moved to a house on the water, and she's like, I think I would like to come because I do want to paddleboard. She'd never been paddleboarding. And she's like, I'd like to be able to get myself back up onto the paddleboard if I fall off in the lake, because I can't do that right now. She's like, I tried once, and she's like, I'm afraid to go back in the water because if I fall off the paddleboard, I can't put myself back up there. So she comes to my classes, and she's now joined the gym, working out regularly, made a great group of social friends as well. And luckily for her, she really regained a lot of strength because probably about 2 years after, she ended up getting some random weird infection. They still don't know what it was in her knees. Her knees like swollen up ridiculous. in isolation in the hospital because they weren't sure if it was some sort of a viral or bacterial that was contagious, that made her body swell up. She had to have her knees drained how many times? Um, but she could not wait there at all. And so she had to transfer to go to the bathroom. And she said if she didn't have her arm strength from doing her shoulders or tricep work to be able to, and her core to be able to lift up her body and transfer from bed to wheelchair to wheel to a bathroom, so she would have had to have a PSW make those for her. And she's like, for me, um, being, late 50s and not being able to do that would have been such a challenge because I was so healthy. And she's like, the fact that I was able to do that, she like afterwards, she's like, I just can't thank you enough, Magenta, for encouraging me to go to the gym, encouraging me to make myself a priority so that I could remain and maintain and increase my muscle mass and my muscle strength so that as I get older, I have the ability to pick myself up when I fall. And I think that's a key takeaway for all of us. We're not getting any younger. Nobody's getting younger
That's right.
from a biological point of view, unless you've got some magic tricks, which that could be another podcast for you. But our bodies age and muscles break down, and we have to find ways to maintain, if not increase, if we have the ability to do so as we age.
Yeah, sadly, most people just realize that when they are in that exact same
Yeah.
situation, they cannot.
Yeah.
Right? So that's one thing that happens quite. I talk to people all the time that they come in and they have fallen. And one of my clients that I've been training for 2 years now, she started working with me because she had fallen on the street. She's 80 years old now,
Hmm.
and she fallen and she couldn't stand up, and that
Yeah.
got her to I need to do something,
Yeah.
right? So hopefully we can get to more people before they get there, right? Just
Yeah.
like you, and that's one thing I wanna hear from you too when it comes to coaching people, because you were saying that fitness has been a lifelong thing for you and your family, right? You guys got good genetics when it
Yeah.
comes to fitness, and you guys passing these traditions and this in this culture. But for a lot of people, they are starting on the deep end of the pool, trying to lose 100 pounds, 200 pounds, right? Like they already feel bad. They already have the low energy. Everything is a big challenge for them. And so hopefully the more that we can get to people early on, right, to avoid and make an impact on their kids as well. Because that
Hmm.
culture transfers as well, right? When people say
Yeah.
diabetes runs in my family, like, yeah, there's a truth to that, but also shitty
We
nutrition
can.
and
Yeah.
not exercising also apparently runs in your family. So
Hmm.
how can we help that? Or even if it is true that diabetes runs in your family, you should have a family that takes extra care of those things, not the other way around,
Yeah.
right? Do you find
Yeah.
that with you never being on that end, do you find that sometimes it's hard for you to relate to people that are 40 and now they're just trying for the first time to be in shape, or they have the feeling that they hate the gym or they hate eating better food? Do you find that that's a challenge for you sometimes?
Maybe from that whole perspective point of view of not being able to have ever been in that position of having to have had like a major weight loss piece where, I've had to shed 100 pounds because I was overweight, or I've had to start going to the gym because I'd never been before. So I don't have those experiences. But I think from the coaching perspective is really scaling back to what are some things that you are doing well and you can do. And instead of focusing on the 100 pounds of what the weight loss is what are some other little goals? Do you want to have more energy? What are you doing right now? And how can we scale it back to smaller goals for people? And that might be getting out for a 5 minute walk around the block. It doesn't have to be an hour run. It's making those little changes every day. Maybe in the morning, somebody has a pop every morning because some people are addicted to Coca-Cola and they have a pop every morning. Maybe it's introducing a glass of water first thing in the morning. Um, Instead of having those late night snacks and the bag of chips late at night, maybe it's replacing it with a fruit. So it's finding some easy, not easy because change is always hard, but finding replacement behaviors that are doable and sustainable on a smaller scale that can be translatable to bigger changes down the road. Because when you're introducing the smaller changes, it's easier to see success than a big overhaul of your lifestyle at once. So I think that for me is a way of kind
Yeah.
of working with people.
Do you somebody on your on your side of the fence over there. You familiar with Jordan Peterson?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But one of the things that he says is that a lot of people's problems is that they're not aiming low enough,
Mm,
right? So you're
mm,
thinking,
yeah,
you think I need to lose 100 pounds, and you think how do I go from here to losing 100 pounds instead
yeah,
of thinking like you exactly what you said. How can I go for a 5 minute walk? And if I can't go for a 5 minute walk, how can I do a 1 minute walk? How can I get up? How can whatever is the smallest thing that you can do? And sure, going for a minute walk is not going to get you to lose 100 pounds, but it's the step in the right direction,
absolutely.
right? What are some of the first steps that you try to get encourage people with when it comes to somebody that's just starting their fitness journey, know nothing, life is a mess? What are some of the first things that you try to tackle?
All depends on everybody's different. So it's always, those conversations with what are the goals for your client, right? And some people, although they may be overweight, weight loss might not even be a goal for them. Somebody who's, maybe ripped and muscular at a smaller stage might not have a goal of wanting to get leaner. Maybe they want to gain mass. Maybe they want to look at their nutrition. So I think is really getting to know the client you're working with and figuring out what it is that they're interested in improving their lifestyle and how their life is currently impacted by whatever thing that's bothering them now. So maybe it's somebody who's not getting enough sleep. And because they're not getting enough sleep, they're staying up too late, they're snacking late at night. So maybe it's a matter of how do we help people, work on scaling back and looking at their lifestyle so that they can make better choices, which can impact them overall for energy levels to make time for the gym, which then might impact their late night snacking, which might improve everything else as well. So uh, as you know, we got to look at the whole situation for
Yeah.
our people with the one-to-one and break it down.
Do
For
you
a lot
find
of
do you find
a
that
lot of my
there's a
ladies,
what's
so
that?
I'm gonna jump in here. So for a lot, I
Uh-huh.
find a lot of my ladies at an older age. And I'm not saying older because I consider myself at an older age too. I'm talking like most of us ladies as we're hitting over 35. So I'm 46 this year. Is the thinking that we shouldn't eat as much. And for a lot of people as we're aging, women are starting to go through the perimenopause. In menopause is making sure women eat enough protein. And I think trying to work with the ladies, as we know, we don't digest protein as well as we age, so we have to increase more, is looking at how do we make sure that people are eating to fill themselves up with foods that are going to satiate them, as opposed to the quick fix, easy foods that are going to leave you wanting more and always getting that quick hit of sugar. So sometimes it's the tweaks in just easy eating or additions that might help make people feel better, which can then translate to overall daily mood changes, which affects everything, as you know.
Yeah, one of the things that I find that I hate, especially when it comes to working with the ladies, is that they associate salad with healthy, and that's always the case, right? I
Yeah,
ate healthy. I ate a salad for lunch.
yeah,
It's like, yeah, and not that there's anything wrong with a salad, but a lot of times that's their association. I ate a
yeah.
salad, so I ate healthy, and then I have two issues with that. One, God knows what went on that salad,
I know.
right? Like, so God knows how they might
Over a
have
thousand
had the
dollars,
yeah,
over 1,000 calorie salad.
that's right. But it was healthy, and I put some nuts in it, and I put, like, yeah, that was a big salad.
Yeah,
But also, even if they're not doing that, but the idea that I I ate like a horse, just grazing, is the standard of healthy is is crazy, because then they're hungry all the time, they feel deprived all the time, instead of trying to focus on more on, like you said, eating more protein, even eating foods that keep them satiated for longer, all those things, right? But it's pretty hard, I find, and maybe you have some some wisdom there for me on how to help them better, because they're so afraid of overeating,
hmm,
right? They're so afraid that they're going to eat an extra chicken breast and they're going to gain 50 pounds this month.
hmm, hmm.
How do you, or do you have something that you normally use to try to overcome that?
It's more kind of looking at what they typically would eat. So working with each client and seeing where would you get your food from, and how do you feel after you eat those meals as well. So if somebody's having their salad, like we're talking about, like this beautiful salad they're having, and they're feeling super healthy, and then figuring out, did they get hungry shortly thereafter? How long did you actually feel full for? And helping people realize their body cues and how they felt with eating food, to see if what they eat sustains them or if they're still feeling hungry even though they're eating healthy. So most people feel full after eating protein, and the protein digestion and how it makes you feel satiated for a longer period of time versus having maybe your little iceberg salad that you're having, or a huge salad where now you're feeling like super bloated from it afterwards as well. Is taking a look at how what you eat makes you feel, and for that period of time after the meal. So looking at the satiation factor, maybe it's journaling. Not everybody likes to journal, because some people say it takes too much time, but just having them be mentally aware of picking maybe one day of eating. What did you eat? What did it look like? How did you feel after?
Yeah, that's a good one. I always do the journaling, but I don't normally do the whole how do you feel after.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that can be a very important component too, so they can start also realizing, so they
Yeah,
can start connecting the dots.
yeah. Even if it's just something like a little bit, like, when did you start to feel hungry again? Is a good one after you had this meal. Even if you're going to say you do your traditional breakfast your day, and then I want you to try what I'm going to give you the next day, and I want you to see, when did you start to feel hungry again? How is your energy through the day? When did you start to feel tired in your day? And seeing how the mood, how your body shifts, how your body responds. Some people might not digest things as well. So, if I'm having pea protein powder for a protein shake, I feel like crap. And that's just me and how my body reacts as well. So, working with clients into introducing foods that work well with their body, especially as women age, might have more of a difficult time digesting certain foods that were easier before, or that they're afraid of, because maybe there's the fear of having to go to the bathroom in public if they introduce too much fiber, as we want to get more people eating more fiber. So, um, or if they're having too much liquids for women, right? As women age, weaker bladders, women who are worried about leaking, which is the real thing for women. So how do we make sure that women are staying hydrated and eating, but also having access to bathrooms as well, which can be a fear factor for a lot of women if they're out doing things and participating in physical activities, or just at work doing their thing.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of things that I've learned from my wife like that, like
Mm-hmm.
those different little concerns that for most of guys, it's not something
Yeah.
that we ever think about it, right? But
Yeah.
for you ladies, might be something to consider, which I think that's one of the reasons why these kind of conversations can be helpful.
Yeah, and it's great. And so for a male coach who's coaching a female who's, mid 40s, who now is maybe having more loss of bladder control, and it's like, well, I need you to do some jumping exercise, and the woman's like, yeah, I don't really want to do high impact exercises because I have bladder leakage, and how that impacts what the training looks like. And now they might be afraid to go to the gym because those conversations can be hard for some women to have. Of, I don't like it when I'm jumping and when you make me do jumping jacks because I leak. Um, and I've been to the doctors for it. And how do we get around that? Can you prescribe an alternate exercise for me? So as a male personal trainer, someone working with female clients, it's, I need you two exercises. Why don't you pick one of these ones with the same kind of an impact for you, right?
Yeah, and it's uncomfortable conversations, like you said, that may be the reason, right? Or sometimes they're giving you other reasons.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, for this reason, we can do something else that's
Yeah,
also, you still give you the same issue,
yeah, yeah,
right? But I'm happy that I'm aware of that now, so that as I'm helping them, I can guide them a little better and say, yeah, I get it.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
we don't
absolutely.
need to go into all the details. We can just make life easier for you, because I think that's a big deal, right? If I can get people to continue coming back to the gym or continue coming back to train, it
Yep.
doesn't matter. I had a client the other day that was training, and she was doing something. She wasn't going to get hurt or anything, but she wasn't doing the ideal way. And
Mm,
another member came, a fitness enthusiast came,
yep.
said, "Hey man, Can I give her a couple pointers? And I was like, no.
Yeah,
uh,
don't do it.
no, because right now my main goal with her is to just getting her to keep showing up.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
She doesn't need to do this professionally right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Right now she's moving, or even with
She's
some of my
lifting something. Yeah,
that's right. Even with some of my older clients, sometimes they get a little bit hung. Some of them get more hung up on the details. Should my hand be like this? Should my hand be like that? I'm like, listen, this is some of the only activity that you have in the day. Do it however your hand feels more comfortable for you.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I don't particularly care if you're doing a bicep curl, if you're doing, with your
Hammer,
pronative,
supine, whatever. Yeah,
supinated. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
how does it how does it feel good to you? That's how I want you to do it.
Is it good on your wrists? Is it good on your shoulders? Is it good on your tendons? You're 75 years old. I want you to lift weights. What can you do that works within your limits? It's going to maintain your ability to sustain your muscle mass, if not increase it, prevent the decreasing of your muscle mass.
Yeah. Are there some trends right now that you've been seeing with your clients that, people come and see, stuff on social media, and then they come and tell you and they want to do that. Are there some of the trends that you find are somewhat concerning from your perspective?
No, I'm just like thinking, I'm like, just off the top of my head right now, I'm like, people like to just come and just be told what to do for people that come to see me. So it's like they want
Huh.
to come, they don't want to think, they don't want to tell me what they think or what they saw. Oftentimes it's more of like just asking nutritional questions as to should I eat, should I not eat, what do you think about supplementation, about this or that, but not necessarily any fitness trends, if you want to
Mm.
say. I always say, what do you like to do? What do you want to do? And what are you going to be able to sustain? Right? If you want to get those kangaroo boots and go and jump and do kangaroo boots and you're going to do that and that's going to be awesome for you, then go and do it. You want to go trampolining, go trampolining. You want to go swimming, go swimming. So I think for me, it's kind of figuring out with people, what do you want to do? And most people who are coming to see me want to lift weights, and move
They
heavier
want
weights.
those arms.
They're like,
You know,
just come and let's lift heavy weights. And we're not going to stop. And if you need a break, take one, but we're not stopping. So you just keep going and don't stop
Yeah,
talking.
I find more of those objections with people that never end up joining, or people that never
Mhm.
end up jumping in. They're trying to figure out everything from the outside. So they haven't worked out in 10 years, but they want to know what is the best way because they heard this and they heard that, and I try to tell them, you start. You
Just start.
start and you'll figure out. If you hate it, you can stop and you can do something different. But you
Yeah.
can't figure out the world belongs to the people that do it,
Yeah.
right? And how many times, I mean, if you've been on the gym, like if you've been in the gym for any length of time, you've seen plenty of people that work out very poorly, but they're in pretty decent shape because they've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
They're in much better shape than the person that knows exactly the way to do something, but they don't.
And they don't do it regularly. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so when you, is there a main goal that you work with most people, that you find that most people that are coming looking for you, that they're trying, is it weight loss? Is it gaining muscle? Do you find a trend?
Mostly gaining muscle mass. A lot of the people that are coming to see me for the most part are women, probably 35 and up. I do have some guys as well, but mainly women. And a lot of the women are looking at maintaining strength. And
Nice.
whether it be like wanting to have the arms or whatever it is, but it's like, how do you maintain your muscle mass? And it's really just working with the clients of saying, you can't just be lifting like your 2 pound weights for most of the women who've been doing 2 pound bicep curls. It's like, no, you can go heavier. And if you can do five of them, no problem, then we're going heavier. Right. And maybe and there are some ladies like my mom who is 70, she comes and does my classes as well. And she rides bikes, and I had her doing a triathlon with me too. But she has a wrist issue. So we work with where and what she can. So that wrist is a little bit more limited, like we were talking about just a few minutes ago. How can you lift the weight that isn't going to impact you? Where your braces support your wrist, and how do you focus on your muscle that we can actually get the muscle work in as opposed to hurting yourself trying to do the exercise. And so working with modifications for people as well. But muscle mass, maintaining muscle mass.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And do you find that a big difference culturally when it comes to exercise and nutrition between Canada and the US? Do you see some, or it's kind of like some of the same issues?
I'd say probably the same things. Yeah. I mean, fast food, I can tell you this, in Canada versus the US, your portion sizes are bigger. With my kids on the sports, taking it down to the States will come down, and you go to fast food and you're getting a small in something is like a large here or a medium. So even the container size for items is substantially bigger for what you're doing down the States.
Yeah, I every time I go to, get an ice cream, and I'm like, oh, we always get like the smallest size that they have, and it's gigantic.
Hmm.
Like for
Hmm.
the smallest size that they
Yeah.
have, you should be a little taste.
Yes.
They're like, this is,
Yeah.
they have I think it's a Sonic. They have like the mini, and you're like, this is like a grown man size of ice
Huge,
cream.
huge,
Like
huge,
this,
huge.
this is this is ridiculous. And so, do you have any plans to come visit the U.S. now that
Oh, we got Pittsburgh. No, no, actually, I'm going to Philly in a few weeks. We got a football tournament. It's we rule the world football for women's or girls football, flag football. So we'll be hitting down there with one of my daughters for football. But other than that, that's it for right now. It's a little bit of the off season, I guess, if you want to say, for some of the other sports. So it's a little bit of a downtime for us, which is really nice because it's been a pretty hectic year.
I'm sure. I'm sure having
Yeah,
two girls playing sports and going on and on, it's pretty
a lot.
difficult. But yeah, I think that it's very impressive. That your girl, what you were saying earlier, that your girls are driven and that they want to do better, and that they're, like you have a girl now outside practicing and playing by
Hmm.
yourself. And I think that's going to take them so far in whatever they want to do,
Yeah,
right? And whatever they want to do, if it's, professionally or even in relationships, right?
yeah,
Because relationships take some significant amount of work too. Any kind of
absolutely.
any kind of relationships that you have. So that's
Yeah.
phenomenal.
And that's okay to fail too, right? And I think that's the big thing for both of the girls to see and be through is they're taking risks for in their sports, in their choices, and they're like, I think I want to do this. I'm like, okay, well, let's try it. And what's the worst that can happen? I think is kind of working through with them. If it doesn't work out, then what's our alternate plan? And having them realize that even if you try something and it doesn't work out, there's always a million other options and you'll never know unless you try, and you may love it and you may think you love it and you want to go for it, and then once you get it you may hate it. So it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to go get in there and drive and push, and it's okay to then, even with all that effort, to be like, you know what, this isn't for me, like we had with gymnastics for my girls. So that's okay. You gotta find
That's
your passion, which goes to your next one. Should we save this for another time?
No, tell me more
You might
about
have
it.
to learn a little about ikigai. So
All
you've
right.
never heard of this terminology before.
I have never heard about it before.
Did you ever play Boulder Dash?
Boulder
So Boulder
Dash.
Dash is a game where you have like a word. So this would be a good game. Get it for your family. It'd be fun to
Okay.
do. So 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 with Boulder Dash, it'd be like a word, and it's you get these words. Somebody who's ever reading the card reads the word, and everybody's got to write down a definition for what that word means.
Okay.
The definitions all go into a pile, and then whoever's read the word has got to read out all the definitions, and then everybody's got to vote on what the word actually means and what's the proper definition. And so with that, you get kids being creative as well, figuring out what words mean, and having some brain work. So what do you think ikigai means?
Man, I one that is not an English word, so
Correct.
so
Correct. Correct.
so I
So
don't
I'll
know.
help you out.
It sounds Japanese.
It is good.
Um. So yeah, no, at a loss
You
here.
you got to a good spot. So ikigai, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's how I pronounce it. It's a Japanese word that has no exact translation. Ikigai is the meaning of life. It's the thing that makes you get out of bed each day in eager anticipation. The word is made by joining iki, meaning life or being alive, and gai, meaning what is worthwhile and has value. So the literal translation is that which makes life worth living. And so with that, you won't be able to see this in your reverse, but maybe I'll send it to you so you can see it. So you can see this
Okay.
cool diagram. So
Yeah.
with that, you have right from the center and the different areas. The top is what you love, what you're good at, what you can be paid for, and what the world needs. So you've got your mission, vocation, profession, and passion. And right at the center is your Ikigai. So how do you find and have that thing in your life that you can get paid for, people need, that you're driven for? It makes you get up out of bed to go and do, and what you're good at. And that's your Ikigai. So for me, it's the fitness world and being able to work with people, to help them find that internal drive for living a healthier lifestyle. And I think for a lot of us in the fitness world, when you have that real deep passion for it, where you see it, you live it, you breathe it, you understand it, and you can't wait to spread it with others, it's what people need and what people are willing to pay for too, because people want to have a life that's long and healthy, and where you're able to be active in doing things with your family, with your friends, and following and being able to, you're 70 years old, you want to hike a mountain, you can do it. Maybe you want to jump off a boat somewhere and not worry about being able to get back up on the ladder to get back into a boat. I think we take a lot of our healthy youthfulness for granted until it's gone. And then, like we've talked about, it's a fight to get it back. So how do we maintain it, sustain it, and help other people find and live that lifestyle as well, for the long term?
Yeah. I like it. Yeah. Feeling capable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you having a general feeling of I am capable of
Mm-hmm.
doing this, right? A little bit of what you're saying for how long you spent of your life believing that you were not capable of doing a pull up.
Mm-hmm.
For which, if you told me before, I would have had the same reaction. You say I can't do a pull up. I'm like, you can do a pull up. Like you can get up there, right? Like it might not be pretty, right? You might, it might not
You can do
be
it.
it might not be a picture perfect pull up, but you
Yeah,
can get up there,
you can do
right?
it.
I've seen people doing it. I'm pretty sure you can.
Yeah.
But when we live with that feeling of I am not capable, right? And sometimes as you age, there may have been by a fall or a time that you got on the floor and you really struggle to get up, you
Yeah.
start developing that feeling of I am incapable, right? And then
Yeah.
you start separating a lot of parts of your life because you don't want to take the chance anymore. You don't
Yeah.
want to take the chance of being in an embarrassing situation. You don't want to go do something that you might need help. And that keeps growing and growing versus when you have that good feeling of like, sure, I can try that.
Yeah.
What's the worst going to happen? If I fall, I get
Yeah.
up, right? If I
Yeah.
can't do it, I can't do it. But you have that feeling of I, I can try. How long have you
Mm.
been with the Ikigai? Like how long has that been a part of, or how long have you known, and how long have you been incorporating that into your life?
So I'd say I came across the term and got this book probably like 3, 4 years ago. Actually, I don't even know, maybe 3, 4 years ago. And then it's kind of been something that's I try and share with people as well as I'm going through. I actually came across the term with Instagram. One of those things that come up, and I was kind of going through. I was like, oh, I'm like that's kind of cool. And I started doing a little bit more reading on that, read a few more articles, and then you went to the bookstore and picked up the book and read it. Have shared the book with some of my friends as well, and share that with people as well, because I think it's so many people just go through life just living without really having a passion. And it's like you're doing the 9 to 5, you don't really like it. There's nothing that brings you joy. And it's helping, and who knows what it is for people, right? Maybe it's you got your guitar behind you. Maybe it's playing your guitar for 20 minutes every day, and that brings you joy. Maybe it's teaching your son how to play the guitar. Um, and it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Maybe it's sitting in solitude and looking up at a tree moving. It's finding that thing as well that can give you that sense of stillness, that sense of peace. And then if we take it to the bigger Ikigai level of how can we translate something to the world outside as well, where we can then impact other people.
Very, very interesting. I'm gonna have to get
Mm.
that book and check it out.
Hmm. Absolutely.
I had seen the diagram before, or
Okay.
I don't know if I had seen the diagram or somebody explaining the
Yeah.
whole like what you love, what the world needs, and what you're
Yeah.
good at, how you
Yeah.
can make money, and try to find that that middle ground.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's really cool. I love the every time I can get a better hold on the philosophy of things. I enjoy. I
Hmm.
enjoy seeing how can you have principles and how to do life, especially today, right? Because our we do, you and I do, but our kids also have so many options on what to do, right? Maybe my parents didn't, right? Maybe my parents had to go to work when they were 15 years
Yeah.
old and survive and help their parents and help
Yeah.
raise their other siblings. But that's not the reality that most of us live today. But we
Yep.
still take so much of, I do this because I have to. One time I was working for this company and I hated it. Like every day it was, taking the life out of me.
Hmm.
And one day I left this meeting and I was working from home and I walk outside and I was so upset and my son said, "Dad, I'm sorry that you have to do this." And I told him and I said, son, the truth is that Dad does not have to do anything. Dad chooses to do this.
Hmm.
And I quit very soon after I had that conversation with him
Yeah.
because I thought, what kind of example I'm setting for my kid? Either I need to shut up about what I'm doing,
Yeah.
like stop
Yeah.
complaining, and this is what I choose to do, or I need to be, or I need to be done. But I need to teach them that, hey, you're at a job that you don't like. It's your choice. And sometimes we make choices of stages that we don't like. Not everything is choosing what you like all the time,
Mhm.
but because you choosing for whatever greater purpose you're setting out to go. Maybe it's an entry level job that you don't really like, but you have a bigger vision. All right.
Mhm.
Or maybe you're trying to learn a skill. Or maybe sometimes you're like, hey, this is what I have to do to provide for my family right now.
Yep.
Whatever it is. Like this is funding my bigger dream or my bigger goal.
Short-term
But
sacrifice.
yeah, but
Yeah.
we live in a very much so of a victimhood mentality a lot of
Mhm.
times, right? When you talk
Mhm.
to people, I am, even when you talk to people about their fitness, sometimes it's hard for people to connect to my choices have gotten me here. Wherever
Mhm.
here is, my choices have gotten me here, right? And so it's an important and valuable principle to learn and live by for sure.
Because once you get that, because then you can also realize that your choices can get you somewhere else, right? And I think with that, it's knowing that you do have the choices. When did you start the gym? How long have you been in the with Anytime?
So we purchased this gym about a little over 2 years ago.
And so, what would you see? What would you say would be some big? I'm going to do some more questions for you now. Some challenges that your kids saw you with the opening of the gym, because that's a pretty big thing to do, and that's a
Hmm.
huge. Any business that you're opening, starting, running, is a huge family investment because the sacrifices that go along with that, less time for kids potentially with the startup because there's a lot of energy that goes into the starting of it. Um, how would you say what would have been a great example for your kids or any impact on them?
I think that the thing that my kids saw the most was that I was willing to bridge the knowledge and skill gap. That I was willing to get started without knowing everything.
Hmm.
That when we would talk, they would hear me talking to my wife, for
Yeah.
example, and it wasn't always, yes, this is how this works. The amount of times that they heard me saying, I have no idea. This is not working and I don't know why.
Yeah.
Or I have
Yeah.
to make this decision and I have no idea how to make this decision. I I don't know how to I don't know how to weigh this decision right now. Like,
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
pros and cons are all over the place. And these are just the things that I see. God knows what's under the surface here that
Right.
my dumbass can't,
Who knows? Yeah.
doesn't know, right? And so for them to seeing this and my willingness to move forward, to continue, it's like, okay, I don't know this. Who can I call? What can I read? What can I do? And at the end of it, sometimes saying, I'm going to have to pick one. I'm going to have to make a decision and then just reevaluate after I made that decision because I got all the resources that I'm ever going to have to make this decision or it needs to be done now. And so I think that that's something that they've seen and I hope that they've been able to take with them. It's like, I don't need to know everything. I can make a jump. I can make a jump here. I can fail here. They've heard me talk to their mom about, man, we're in a tough spot at times.
Yep.
It's like, well, if, what is the worst case scenario? They hear me saying that all the time. What is the worst case going to happen? We shut down this gym and we figure something else out. If that's the worst, that's not an awful, it's not a catastrophe.
Yeah. Did you notice any changes with your kids in their personality risk taking after you and your wife made this jump?
Yeah, they have been more willing to do so right now. So my little one did a lemonade stand a couple weekends ago, and just seeing his willingness to go talk to people, I think that wouldn't be there if we hadn't been taking those chances.
Yeah.
And my older son, he started going to the neighbors and asking to clean their trash cans.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So he's
Little
like,
entrepreneur too, right?
yeah. So he's like, hey, I want to go. And it took him a little while. It's interesting raising kids is because I think that, yes, you're teaching your values, but there's also a lot of your own demons that you're trying to not pass on, right? A lot of your own insecurities, a lot of your own things that hold you back that sometimes you're like, oof, I hope you don't get this, but this has been a struggle for me. And that has been a big driver for me when it comes to things that I get hung up on. That is, oof, I want to deal with this thing so that my kids don't have to.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like I want my kids seeing me take chances, not the other way around where my kids always see me talking about taking chances, but not actually doing them, not actually making those leaps. And so it's cool. It's cool seeing them participating. They've seen us having to deal with difficult employees. They've seen us having to deal with, people having less than ideal responses to situations, and to be able to explain to them, hey, this is not the way to go. This is not the way to go when we've had to fire a couple people over the couple of years, and people's responses wild at times. And to tell him, hey, it doesn't matter if a girl rejects you, you gotta control your stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't just lose your shit on somebody because they turned you down or you didn't get a job or you were fired or a girl said that you were ugly or that they didn't want to go out with you, whatever it is, you have to control, you have to have some grace under pressure.
Absolutely. And the emotional control to be able to manage.
That's right.
And that environment that you have, giving them, showing them is allowing them to have the skills to experience and have conversations about it for success in the future.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. So let's wrap it up. So for people I know you don't just train in person, right? But for people that are in your area, how would they find you? And for people that would like to maybe train virtually with you, how would they get in touch with you?
Best reaching out is through my Instagram account. I have two. We've got Soul Strength, SOLE_strength. And I believe power of the movement is in the feet. So it's the power of the soul, also in your feet, and the power of movement for grounding. For grounding you is kind of where Soul Strength comes from. And that we have the power to pick up and move ourselves to situations we want to be in. So really a play on the word soul and how that moves to have and be our
I like
strength
it.
for living, which is kind of cool. And then Zaya Magenta, ZYIA Magenta, also on Instagram. Sell some Zaya clothing as well. It's kind of women's activewear. Of course they do, right?
Yeah.
Or on with my app. You can go to Soul Strength and go on my app. Check out your app too.
No,
If
that's
you're in the
awesome.
Stony Creek area, come to Good Life. Come and see me train there. Yeah, I got some clients in the park we want to meet as well, and then shortly I should be training in the house too. So
Yeah, I don't think you short on activities and things that you do at all. I think we
the,
got
to be honest, the app has taken, as we met through the app, has taken a bit of a side shutdown, not shutdown, but a slowdown at this stage of the game because when I train clients and work with clients, I want to be able to give them my all and be able to make sure that I'm coaching in an intentional way and not just in a money grab way. So it's not with me just a program, throw it out there and you pay for it. If you want to do that, great. You can hit me up and I'll send you a program. But a lot of the coaching is more so with the working with people from the conversations like we're having today. Is how can you get to where you want to go from a conversational piece to get you there. Um, and with how busy my girls have been, my kids are my number one priority and making sure that they're where they need to be. So when you have 7 jobs, as a single mom, you have to have and figure out where and what's going to have to, slow down at some
absolutely.
points and pick up at some points, and making sure that your passionate pieces always stay in line. So now that it's summertime and with being a teacher and being off a little bit, getting back to more of the app, getting stuff set up and ready to go as well for the new year too. So
It's awesome.
full
Awesome.
strength, SOLE.
Yeah, I'll plug it in too whenever the
Awesome.
podcast comes out, and as I post around, I'll tag you so that people can find
Sounds
you a
good.
little easier also.
Sounds good.
Well, great chatting with you.
Nice chatting too,
Yeah,
and wishing you a
next time
great
you're
day.
down here in Florida, we'll make sure to meet, maybe do a little podcast in person, who knows.
There we
And
go. Absolutely. Yeah, we'll be hitting down there hopefully again for the World Football Championship again down in, I think it's February, a little bit earlier next year.
okay.
So we'll have to connect it before, so make sure we can get the connection in place and see the power of women's sports and men's as well. They have like the boys football too, but these girls teams are pretty incredible to watch them hit their one-handed catches up and
That'll
taking
be
them
cool.
and hitting their hip drops and whatnot. So it's pretty amazing to watch these kiddos do what they got to do and follow it passionately.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, great chatting with you. I will
You
talk to
too.
you soon, and
Sounds good. Chat soon.
have a good rest of your day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.